what is up? Welcome to this sneak peek into coaching, and this is my dog Henry. I'm Allison, and I'm one of the co-hosts of this group, and I just want to share a little bit about my story with you guys. I am currently living in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. I grew up here, and I went to college in Minnesota. I've never left. I love to travel, though, but I've always lived in Minnesota. I was a teacher for 6 years and just recently retired myself from that job to work as a full-time health and fitness coach, which I am super excited about. And so I want to talk to you guys about my story, how I got started, and kind of where this coaching journey has taken me today, because my life has done a complete 180 or 360, however you want to look at it, from where it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So I want to share with you guys the amazing things that can happen if you decide to join as a coach on Team Arise with Kinsley and myself. So my story, I'm going to bring you guys back to kind of the end of my senior year of college. I was at a smaller school up north in Minnesota, and I had been a diver for 10 years. So my diving season just ended, and I didn't really have anything else to do to keep myself active. I was always just kind of in shape naturally, I guess you could say, and just kind of fit naturally. And so when my season ended, I thought that's, what it was going to still be like. But, once you turn into older, you're 22, that doesn't really stay that way. And so after my senior year, a lot of my friends knew I had more free time, so they wanted me to come out and party with them and do all those things that college kids do that I didn't until my season ended. And so I started doing all those things, and I started to gain weight. And so I say that I gained kind of the senior 15 rather than the freshman 15. I didn't really notice, to be honest, that I had gained weight. I mean, I knew I did, but I wasn't too scared of it, if that makes sense. I was like, oh, it's fine, like whatever, this happens to everybody. And so graduation day came, and I have an identical twin sister. Her name is Kayla, and she was up there for graduation. And I'm not kidding, you guys. I could hear people like behind me when we were taking pictures, like, oh, Allison's the bigger twin, or Allison clearly weighs more than her twin sister. Like comments like that, which if you have sisters or if you have siblings or if you're a twin yourself, you know how hard that can be. Even just comparing yourself to friends. Being a woman, you're going to compare yourself naturally all the time, which is, a really hard thing to do. And so anyway, that was kind of, going through the back of my mind. Right after graduation, literally the next day, I got a call and I got a teaching job about 45 minutes away from where my college was. Sorry, Henry likes to be a part of everything. And I decided just to take it because I didn't know what else I would get. So I moved about 45 minutes, even more north than where I was, to start my first teaching job. And I didn't know anybody, but I met a really great friend who did happen to go to the same college as me. And that January, we kind of started our fitness journeys. My twin sister, Kayla, was getting married that April, and she was going to be getting married. My friend was going to be married that July. And so we both had gained a little bit of weight. We wanted to lose it. So we were those New Year's resolution girls. We joined the gym. We had all these goals. We started to kind of really keep track of what we were eating, and we would log it on like an app on our phone. We go to a bunch of fitness classes. We were having a blast. By the time my sister's wedding came in April, I did lose the 15 pounds that I'd gained, and my friend was well on her way too, and we were so excited. There's that feeling that you're accomplishing a goal. It makes you feel really good. And so we continued to go to the gym, of course, and all of that. And so by the time summer came, my friend's wedding was almost there, and I just remember that things started to really take a toll on what I was doing. I started to become very obsessed with it, very addicted. I was constantly writing down, more than like 5 times a day, everything I was eating. I had to be very specific about what I ate, how many calories it was, constantly re-adding it. I started weighing myself multiple times per day. I ended up losing my period because my body did not have enough body fat. I got very, very sick. Didn't really know what was going on with my body. I thought everything I was doing was normal. That's just how people lost weight. That summer went on, and I was at my family's cabin that August, and my mom had brought it to my attention that she thought that I may have an eating disorder. And I denied it for a very long time. I didn't think what I was doing was wrong. I thought that, this is just how people lose weight. And at that time, I didn't need to lose any more weight. I continued to drop weight and ended up from my highest weight, lost about 35, 40 pounds. And so I was very sick. And that school year started, and my family forced me into treatment for an eating disorder, and I was diagnosed with anorexia. And I will just never forget, I was so ashamed, I was embarrassed. No one knew besides my family what I was dealing with. I didn't want anyone to know. And so I had to lie to my school and tell them why I had to leave every Friday to go to treatment. And during this time, I was actually also diagnosed with lupus. And so I was telling everybody that I had to go see the doctor for lupus just to make sure, everything was fine, which was a complete lie. And I hate that I even had to do that, but it was where I was at. And I would go every single Friday just to get checked in on, and they would weigh you, they would check your heart rate. And I will never forget, every time I went there, I would step on the scale and it got a little bit lower. And inside, I would, be excited about it. And every time they took my heart rate, it got a little bit slower. And again, inside, I got excited about that. And one of the hardest moments for me is when I went there and they took my heart rate and it was at 42 as a resting heart rate, which if it got below 40, they were going to admit me to the hospital, which of course I did not want. And you would think at that point, I'd be like, okay, I've had enough. Like, obviously I was slowly killing myself, and my body was shutting down. They told me that I may not wake up one morning just because my heart rate got too slow and my heart wasn't strong enough to continue beating. And that was a scary moment, but it wasn't scary enough for me to stop what I was doing because it was such an addiction. And so I battled with anorexia for another year. And during this time, I ended up moving back home because I needed the support of my family. I got a new teaching job in the Twin Cities again. I ended up meeting my now husband, and don't worry, my story gets better, because one day I was scrolling through Instagram, which maybe much like many of you found me or Kinsley, and I saw this girl. Her name was Jill, and I had taught with her back in my very first year of teaching. We taught in the same district, and I reached out to her because she had a post. She looked absolutely incredible, like totally in shape, super happy. I was like, what is she doing? Because I clearly need that. And I reached out to her. I was like, what are you doing? Tell me all about it. And I signed up with her the next day. I started with a program called the 21 Day Fix, which we're going to talk all about the details. And I did 3 rounds of it. And at the very end of that 3rd round, it was like the next week was my wedding. And I felt amazing, you guys. I ended up gaining weight because that's what my body needed. And I had never been okay with gaining weight before. I learned how to eat again. I learned that I didn't need to starve myself. I didn't need to avoid certain foods. I could have, the foods I wanted, and just be able to be the Alison that I used to be. I was so happy. I was no longer depressed. I didn't want to be by myself anymore. I mean, everything changed for me. And I honestly can say that my life was saved through Beachbody, through the 21 Day Fix, through my coach, and through joining these programs, because I don't know if I would be here today. I really honestly don't know if I would have been able to battle through anorexia. And so I am forever grateful for this opportunity. And a few months after my wedding, I decided that I wanted to become a coach, because I know there's other people out there that are battling with eating disorders, depression, whatever it may be. And I know that I have a solution for them, and I can't not share it. I have to share this amazing, incredible opportunity with all those people. So I've been a coach since October 2016, a little bit over a year and a half, depending on when you're watching this video. And I have now made this my full-time job. I quit teaching about a month ago, and I am working this business as my full-time job, which is absolutely insane because I did not go to school to become a coach. I went to school to be an elementary teacher. So crazy things can happen if you just shoot for your goals and reach for your dreams. And that's what we're hoping to tell you guys more about in the next video. So thank you guys for listening to my story. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to get to know you guys throughout the next couple videos. All right, we'll chat soon.